everyone, I'm Katie, and today I am announcing a very special readathon. So I am absolutely so excited, you have no idea, because this announces the second yearly readathon. It is the Spring into Christian Fiction readathon, and yes, I did change the name back because I was having a hard time with the name from last year, which was what was it? Just the Christian Fictionathon, and nobody could pronounce that name right, so we're just gonna go with Spring into Christian Fiction readathon. So if you're going to share your TBR via either YouTube or Instagram, use the hashtag Spring into Christian Fiction, and I want to see what you're all going to read, because this is going to be a very exciting readathon. So I actually had a really hard time coming up with prompts this year, because I thought, like last year, I was going to come up with like these cute little spring quips about spring and combine those with reading prompts. And for some reason, my brain just couldn't do it this year. So first idea was to use like classic authors like Ella Montgomery and classic authors like that, and because they had some fun spring quotes. So I was gonna do that, but I'm like, no, this needs to be more Christian fiction themed. So God helped me come up with this amazing idea, and I asked some of my absolute favorite Christian fiction authors what is their favorite thing about spring, and I came up with prompts based on their answers. So thank you to each and every one of you amazing ladies for helping me out with this. It's going to be so much fun. So I will link all of their Instagram pages down below so you can all check them out. They're all amazing ladies and I love them all, so make sure to check them out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I have 10 prompts for you all. I don't have a bingo board because, I mean, 10 prompts is really hard. Like, bingo boards are only like either 9 prompts or like 16, so, or more than that. So I'm like, we'll just skip the bingo board and we'll just do a prompt list this year. I don't even think I did a bingo board last year. Can't remember. But anyways, so before I go over the prompts, we do have a buddy read. I did have a poll up since about 2 weeks ago or so, and it was a very close race. So before I filmed this, I checked to see which one won. It won by 1%. So we will be buddy reading Wishtress by Nadine. So if you haven't read it yet, or if you have and you want to reread it, or just hang around, this will be the buddy read. I'll probably be doing maybe a live book chat about this at the end of the month, so make sure to tune in for that. But it's going to be a fun time, and I don't know anything about this, honestly, because all I know was that everybody was raving about it, so I'm happy that it was picked. So let's see what this is about. It says, she didn't ask to be the Wishtress. I don't even know how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry, Nadine. But Mirtha was born with the ability to turn her tears into wishes. But when a granted wish goes wrong, she is cursed. The next tear, she says, will kill her. She must travel to the well to break the curse before it can claim her life. And before the king's militarin find her. To survive the journey, Mirtha must harden her heart to keep herself from crying even a single tear. Okay. Even just with that, like, okay, this is going to be a great book. I have a feeling. So this will be our buddy read. So if you want to buddy read this, it's going to be an amazing time. I think it's going to be lots of fun to read. And this cover is absolutely stunning. So very happy that this got chosen. It was also on my list anyways of my 5-star predictions. So that'll knock that off. All right. On to our first prompt. So our first prompt was helped by the lovely, hold on. I never wrote it down. There it is. Basham. So what she loves about spring is, she said, I live in the Blue Ridge Mountains, so the thing I love most about spring is that everything starts to bloom and add this beautiful color across the mountains. Bradford Pear trees, flowering dogwoods, mountain laurel, eastern redbuds, magnolias, rhododendrons, and azaleas. They're worth the allergies. So she gave me like a whole paragraph. A lot of the other authors didn't give me a whole paragraph, and that's okay. So she gave me a whole paragraph, but what stood out to me most was because she lives in the Blue Ridge Mountains and there is a lot of color. So really simple and easy prompt. just pick a book with blue on the cover. And I'll do a whole recommendation video and my TBR next week, so that way you can check it out and get some ideas. But blue on the cover, that is totally blue. So you could obviously use the buddy read, which I might. So blue on the cover. So it goes with the Blue Ridge Mountains and lots of color. So the main color is blue. So that is our prompt, just blue on the cover. It can even be in the title. I'm okay with that. All right, so the next prompt was from Toni Shiloh. And Toni said that her favorite thing about spring was watching all the flowers bloom. So this one, I actually had a hard time because somebody else mentioned flowers, but I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna like be really creative with Toni's prompt. So for watching all the flowers bloom, since she mentioned watching and watching them bloom, I'm gonna go with, this might be a stretch, but a book you keep looking at but have never picked up to read. So like, as you're watching the flowers bloom, you kind of get excited, you kind of like want to like go pick the flowers, but maybe you shouldn't pick the flowers because maybe there's a sign that says don't pick the flowers, or you're just hesitant to pick the flower because you know it'll die soon. You know, just kind of like a book, like you see the same book on your bookshelf, or you see it talked about on YouTube and you're kind of maybe like scared to pick it because you're afraid you're not going to like it as much. But just a book that you've seen a lot of, that you've really wanted to pick up but you've never picked up. So like you watch it all the time. You watch the flowers bloom, you watch this book, pick it up and read it. That was a little bit of a stretch. That's the only one that I kind of was like, I think it goes really well with it. So there you go. Also, all of the prompts will be in the description box as well, so that way, also in the comments, I'll try to do that too, so that way you can screenshot it or write them down. All right, the next prompt was from Erin Bartels, and she put her favorite thing about spring is birdsong and flowering crabapple trees. That's hard to say. So the prompt I came up with for that one was really simple and really easy, since she was the only one that mentioned birds and birdsong. It's a bird on the cover or in the title, so it could be any bird. I know there's actually a book that I want to read that's perfect for this next month, which I'm really excited about. I'll probably be reading Mark of the Raven by Morgan L. Bussey. I've never read her series before, but I'm very excited to be reading that. I definitely want to read that, so that will probably be my choice. But I'm sure there's a lot of choices out there with birds on the cover or in the title. There's actually one up here that has a bird on the cover, which would be another idea because I have been really wanting to read this, and that's Mountain Laurel by Laurie Benton. But there's tons of choices there. I'm just going to put that there because I probably won't be able to put it back. But yeah, so you can pick that. Anything with just a bird on the cover or in the title. And it doesn't have to be like just a random bird. It could be a raven, a robin, even a person's name named Robin. That's technically a bird. So there you go. All right, so the next prompt is from Jen Turano, and Jen said her favorite thing about spring was the scent of these wild bramble bushes that border one of my favorite trails. They only bloom for about 3 weeks, but the scent is one I look forward to all year. So I actually changed this prompt in the middle of filming because it was similar to another prompt, too similar. So for this one, I think since she was talking about her favorite trails and how she looks forward to it all year, I feel like this would be a good one to reread an old favorite. So because I just feel like that works for this particular prompt, because it's something that you've seen before and something you already know you love, that I think you should reread an old favorite. So I'm gonna have to try to figure that out because yeah, I'll have to figure out what I want to read for that. We'll see. That might have a lot of thinking. All right, so the next prompt is from Laura France, and Laura said her favorite thing about spring was Easter and the smell of cut grass. So I actually picked 2 prompts for this one. You don't have to do both. If you want to, you can. Just pick one or the other. But the first one, I was gonna just do this one, but I figured a lot of people don't have physical books, so that's totally fine. And this one is definitely a book lover prompt, for sure. And it is a book that smells nice, because she mentioned the smell of cut grass. Yeah, there's like these certain books that just smell amazing, and I don't know which one it is. I know there's one on my bookshelves that smells really great, but like, I mean, come on, as a book lover, you've smelled at least one book, right? Maybe. I don't know. This one actually doesn't have a smell from what I smell. But anyways, so a book that smells nice. So go on your bookshelves, sniff a couple books, and the one that smells nicest, you pick that one to read. So if you don't have physical books, I got you covered. So, or if you don't want to do that one, you can also pick a book that is set during Easter time or during springtime. So during the time of Easter time, around that month, just a book that's set during that time, or even specifically around Easter. Pick a book. Hey, actually, I have one that actually could work for that. I do. So I might read that one. Okay. Anyways, but I'll figure out my TBR later because it might change between now and next week. All right. So that's a fun one. I think that'll be fun. All right. So the next one is from a Melanie Dickerson, and she said her favorite thing is easy. Flowers, like in big bold letters with exclamation points and everything. So for her, it's really easy. I just put flowers on the cover because I actually think I had this prompt last year, but I mean, seriously, it's like one of the best things about spring is the flowers. So any book with flowers on the cover, I don't think I have a flower around right now that I can see at a glance, but yeah, so any flowers on the cover, it can be flowers on the cover or flowers in the title. I'm fine with both. So pick your choice. All right, so the next one is from Misu Andrews, and she said her favorite thing about spring is living in the Appalachian Mountains and all the spring flowers and flowering bushes and trees that come with it. It's beautiful all 4 seasons, but spring brings a new life with the beauty, and I love that. So that was really sweet, and I kind of went with the idea of spring bringing a new life with the beauty. So for this one, I went with spring brings new life. So for this prompt, read a book that has a new life. So it's kind of similar to a prompt that I had last year in one of my readathons, but this is somebody who can be new to their faith. So it's new life in that way. It can be a character who is moving to start a new life somewhere else. Or it can literally mean new life, like someone has a child, baby, or even adopts, because that is a new life for that child. So any one of those, and you can stretch these prompts. I'm not going to yell at you. If you think it fits, it fits. So super easy readathon. All right, so the next prompt is, make sure I don't miss any here. Okay, next prompt is from Joanna Davidson Politano, and Joanna said that her favorite thing about spring is sunshine. So this one was an easy one too, because sunshine, it just gives you that warm feeling. So I put a book that gives you a sunshine feeling. So whatever sunshine means to you. So I put down, it can be a book that makes you happy, because sunshine makes you happy. It can be a book that gives you a warm and cozy feeling. It can even be set in a warm place because it's sunshine, it's warm. Just any book that kind of gives you a sunshine feeling. So I think that works. I think that's a fun prompt. That'll be a fun one to see what I can come up with. All right, the next one is from Renee Gutteridge. And she put, my favorite thing about spring is the warmth that finally breaks through the cold temps. It's a small window of beautiful weather here in Oklahoma before scorching heat comes. So this was a stretch too, because I'm like, oh man, she came up with like something that was like completely different. So I mean, spring is warm, but like there's like this little window between warmth and heat. And so I figured, since most of us read quite big books, like not necessarily huge, but like a lot of Christian fiction is usually between 300 to 400 pages usually. So for this prompt, I just want you to read a short book, because we need a break between those big books. So we need a break between the big winter and the big summer. So that's where that one came from. So just read a short book, something underneath 250 pages. So just find a short book to read and you'll be all set to go. So that'll be a nice one to do. All right, and then the last one that I have is from Jennifer Geibel, and Jennifer said, my favorite thing about spring is the sense of renewal it brings with it. It feels like more of a fresh start in many ways than even New Year's does. So for this one, really easy, since she was talking about fresh start and just having a new outlook on things. So for that one, really easy, read the first book in a series. So I will put the entire list of the prompts down below. I think it's going to be great. So first in a series, that could be anything. Any series you want to start reading just has to be the first book in a series, because you're going to start a new start. All right, so I think it's going to be amazing. Obviously forgot to put the dates for the readathon, but it is the entire month of April. So you have from April 1st to April 31st, 30th? Forgot how many days are in April at the moment, but you have the entire month of April to just have fun with it. Take your time. I always make sure it's a month long. That way you all have plenty of time to pick books and read, and that's why I announce it now instead of waiting for the end of the month, so you have time to pick your books and have fun with that. So I think it's going to be so much fun. I'm definitely going to be doing reading sprints. I'll probably be doing a couple of lives as well, hopefully next month, as well as the Buddy Read book chat at the end of the month. So that'll be fun. All right, so let me know down below if you already have some ideas for these prompts. I'd love to know what books you're excited about getting to. Are you excited about the readathon? Will you be joining? I hope so, because it's going to be so much fun. All right, so I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.